Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Final Fantasy Randomizer League. My name is Edgeworth, and I'm here with Files. How you doing today, Files?
I am doing great. I'm ready for another great randomized Final Fantasy extravaganza.
So the rules for this round, Stage 8, show some class. Pretty much a standard run through the game, except you do have to class change, and we see a number of different party comps on the board here. Which one do you like the most?
Well, my heart tells me that the triple red mage party should be victorious, but my brain tells me that Will Cleosis probably has the most balanced party, so it's hard to tell.
So I'm thinking out of all of these, I kind of like Mono's party the best, but I would be very tempted to remake my party if I find something particularly good in the level 1 shop.
Yeah, basically the only time that I think remaking your party would be worth it is if the spells in Corneria really dictated what would and would not be good for a party comp. And that does not appear to be the case here. We've basically just got Ice 2 that's useful for magic in the starter town.
Alright, so 3 casts of Ice 2 for Mono and Fuchsia, and Will only gets 1, and not much for the White Mage either.
The real benefit for the red mage white mage party will come in the second town in Provoca, where both the red mage and the white mage can learn every possible spell on that level. So it could still pay off for Will. We'll have to see.
Alright, good stuff with 3 tents in the inventory. Or excuse me, 12 tents, and really, if I was playing, I would pick up 3 or 4 of those, and then save on the way out.
Oh yeah, it's so nice when those are cheap. Nothing says lame like the randomizer only giving you 2,000 gold houses and nothing else in Corneria.
Oh, that's super interesting. Mono and Fuchsia running out the front door, neither one of them got the imps with the chance to strike first, but Will did.
Curious. Oh, nice pile of money in the first chest in Temple of Fiends there.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Mono has to head back because he used both of his spell charges, but he'll be at level 2 on a couple of the party members, so it might be a little easier for him. Unfortunately, the imps with Squint gonna make this a little difficult to get up there.
The old squimps.
Giving them the side eye, and they just fall over dead. Fuchsia first to Garland. Just gonna drop a bunch of Ice 2s and see how this goes.
Wow, did Garland hit B-Day for exactly his health total? That was amusing.
Yeah, blew out his candles.
Alright, I give that one a B+. Alright, so we get ourselves a loot and a bridge. Early bridge option is turned off in these in this round for flags, so you do have to kill Garland to progress.
Alright, Mono not too far behind, and is going to shotgun down Garland here. And Will just gets dumpstered by a bunch of skeletons, so that's no good, and he's going to have to run up there, seeing is how you have to. They need the bridge.
Wow, those imps not giving Will a break.
Oh, back to town. And yeah, Will's just having a rough go of it today. Chain armor for 130. Excuse me? That's not the bargain that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, that's actually pretty expensive. Although with four party members able to use the chain armor, that's pretty worth the time to pick up.
Yeah, nobody's going to be dodging any attacks today, but at the same time, early game to mid game, the absorb's going to count a lot more.
Will cannot escape the fury of these imps. Oh my gosh.
Staring them down.
And with this flag set, killing these imps is not worth an especially large amount of gold or experience because the boost is relatively low.
Alright, well, Fuchsia bought a stack of 40 tents, and I like this because he is just going to plow through this. Who gets ambushed by imps, though. Back to the start with you. That's why I always save near the river.
Alright, Will putting his tents to use here. Doesn't want anything more to do with those nasty imps.
Alright, how about some Grimps instead?
They're pre-angry. But he does get the run.
Alright, and Mono jumps ahead on the stream here, just plowing through the Provoca Peninsula here. He's going to take this wolf fight, and he's going to skip Matoya's for now, come back when he has the ship. I usually like to check Matoya if I have cheap save items, otherwise I will definitely come back to get that with the ship.
Question in chat, what is a red mage? A red mage is kind of the jack of all trades in this game. Red mages are particularly useful when spells are shuffled the way they are, because red mage can learn quite a bit of the early game magic, but not as much of the late game magic. But in the randomizer flag settings that we're running for this stage of the league, oftentimes the good spells are shuffled toward the front of the spell list, so yeah, red mages can be very useful.
So for example, we've got only fire 2. So the attack magic, not so good, but life and life 2 available at level 2 in the white magic shop, which means 100% red mage learnable. Cure 3 as well, so white magic pool pretty solid.
Oh yeah, life 2, one of the best healing spells in the game, especially when you can cast it on 2 different of your party members.
Yeah, just gotta let them take a dirt nap and then pick them back up at the end of the fight.
So much more convenient than having to click heal potions all the time. Alright, time to see how annoying the pirates are.
Not that much. No thunder pirates today.
That's why they got the P in front of them. They're no longer irate. Yeah, so in this randomizer, enemies can be given the scripts and spells of other enemies, so it is entirely possible to have pirates casting awful spells at you, like thunder.
So it looks like Fuchsia is just going to skip out on getting fire 2, and if I haven't seen any of the other elemental spells, I'm certainly picking that up. Oh god, the housing market, jeez.
Yeah, not the greatest. Those are pretty expensive, although not as bad as I've seen them. That's still pretty high considering the price scaling for these flags.
And oh, Mono got fired too, so time for pop grind.
So Mono heading up to the so-called Peninsula of Power. There are 4 tiles up here that belong to a section of the map that is not normally associated with the early game here. So you can encounter some much stronger enemies than you normally are able to encounter at this stage of the game, and they give a lot more golden experience than what you're used to. And we're actually able to kill them off thanks to the spells we have. And with 3 people casting Fire 2.
2 people casting. No.
Maya took a dirt nap there.
Alright, see how much HP they rolled. These guys can get pretty beefy. And looks like they are.
Was that a meat pun?
Unmistakably.
I'm not even mad anymore, that was just quality. USDA grade A, if I might say so myself.
Choice. Oh, Mono trying to cheap out and save...
save his fire charges? He almost paid for it, too.
Not gonna happen, but This actually isn't terrible. This is a pretty good place in the early game for levels to land, although I'm sure he would have liked a more even distribution.
Yeah, at this point, it's probably debatable. He's got the house, so he can get his magic levels back and revive his fighters, so... Definitely a wise move on Mono's part there.
Alright, if the damage can be a little more evenly distributed, Mono's got a shot at clearing out a 4-pack, which is going to be pretty nice for him. But I have the feeling, yep, there goes Dirt Nap, that guy. Rip Files.
Nobody liked that guy anyway.
He's just sleepy after eating a whole bucket of potato lays.
It's much better than having to survive the Zombo assault. So on the other side of the screen there, we did see Wilklios has finally managed to get through the Imp and Garland gauntlet and managed to pick up his bridge and his loot, so he'll be making his way over to Provoca.
So the other benefit of the pop grind, in addition to the early experience, is just the large amount of gold that you're going to pick up. And Mono is pretty well ahead of any other runner in that regard. So when he gets to Elfland, not only will he be able to use the spells at level 3 and maybe 4 on the Black Mage, but he's also going to be able to afford them, which, given the housing market, is super important.
Yeah, one of the big downsides to running so many red mages is that they're just expensive. You can throw so many spells and equipment on them that they just outfitting them is a time-consuming task as far as money is concerned. So when you hit up these randomized shops, for example, the weapon shops are fully randomized. Anything that was normally sold in a shop could be sold anywhere, and same thing with the item and armor shops and weapon shops. But the prices always scale for the level of, like for the magic, for example. Life 2 would normally be an incredibly expensive spell, but since it's being sold in Provoca, it's a lot cheaper.
So Matoya's cave had about 8k of gold in it, and will reset, but Fuchsia took it. So Fuchsia is going to have money, at least for the level 3 shops. Oh, he's not even going to look because he's too low of a level, I think.
Yeah, Fuchsia's definitely taken the gotta go fast approach, where Mono is just now, I think, deciding he's done with Peninsula Power, so he'll be a little bit better equipped for, Marsh Cave, since we know that the next level of progression has to be there.
So I think if you're in Fuchsia's shoes, you have to check the level 3 shops. Because
yeah, I'd be very surprised.
Just killing a bunch of ogres is worth it just to get one warp charge, I would say.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. Especially if Marsh Cave has something awful in it, like an enemy that casts a terrible spell or something like that. Like Death Touch Wizards.
Or, hey, how about Shadows with Glance?
Because why not?
Hey, there's the TNT.
Alright, so Fuchsia has a decision to make. He can leave right now and have progression to get further on to the next part of the game, but he'll be leaving behind the bottom section of Marsh Cave, which may or may not have something important in it.
And if you do leave that bottom section, you are very, very likely to not come back ever.
Yeah, until it's probably the last possible place you can check.
Okay, Kaizaku's with Rub.
Question in chat, are runners allowed to pick their characters, or are they randomized along with the items? It is entirely possible for certain sections of this league that the decision was made to force non-random party members on the team. But for this particular round in Stage 8, there are 4 totally open slots, so the people are able to choose the party that they want to have.
Alright, Fuchsia finds a silver dagger, so other than the TNT, topside doesn't have a whole lot, and he just has to dodge these shadows on the way out. Whoops.
It's really hard to dodge anything when you're an unmoving stone statue.
Yeah, as any Bills fan could have told you during the Drew Bledsoe years. Oh God!
Sweet Lord, no. Okay, get that Fire 2 cast off. Oh wow, did he buy any softs?
I don't think so. So good luck. He has, yeah. All right, so he made it out.
He's got a bajillion tents.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But holy cow, lugging those jerks around.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a lot of levels, so he's got a low strength score. Alright, we got Mono heading down to Elfland, so Mr. Moneybags here will more than likely have the cash to buy whatever spells he needs, so we'll get a look here and see what we got. Ice 3, that's always a nice pickup.
So, Ice 2, Ice 3, Fire 2, not the nuke and fade that you're certainly looking for. But hey, how about Unlearnable Cure 4? Sorry.
Not this time. And because of the position that Cure 4 is in, even if his Red Mage's class upgrade, they still won't be able to learn it. And since the tail and a class upgrade is required for this stage of the league, that's extra sad.
Oh yeah, Brack charges. Oh, he's gonna pass up on that mono. No.
What? What about the memes, sir?
Alright, well, first look at the bottle and yikes. Okay. I'm gonna come back for that one.
Yeah. The bottle is actually not as expensive as it could be, but purchasing it this early when your money is better spent elsewhere is not wise, but knowing where it is very important.
Yeah, how else can you forget where it is unless you know where it is first?
Yeah, that's most of the fun, is taking the airship and revisiting every item shop in the game. Ooh, was that gold bracelet we saw?
That was a gold bracelet for 3k more than the bottle, so good luck. That's going to be a post-grind bottle for sure.
We got Will making his way to Elfland now, although he is a Peninsula of Power grind behind Mono, unfortunately, because of the time losses he took to those Squid Imps and Garland.
So I didn't see if Fuchsia picked up Ice 3 on everybody, but looking at the spell list, I would be very tempted to do a Volcano Dive next.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you on that one. There's a lot of progression items we still need to find in this seed.
It feels pretty bad that haven't seen Exit or Warp yet, and this may be where Will and Mono get a little bit of an advantage on Fuchsia if Exit and Warp both land, like, say, level 6 in a non-Red Mage learnable slot. Got chat calling for ordeals, and question in chat, has Bottle ever been max price in one of these races? Yeah, it has, and that's been brutal.
Yeah, you usually end up having to put off your bottle purchase until after you've either grinded or been able to either find gold or find items that you can sell for a big pile of gold.
Yeah, normally by the time you end up going through, say, Cardia Islands, you'll find enough loose treasure chests that have enough money to pick something up by that. But if you spend 65k on the bottle, that just means you can't spend that on gold bracelets and pro rings. So it does have an impact to your play.
And again, with all the red mages we're seeing, spell charges, especially as once you start hitting level or rank 4, 5, and 6, they start to get real expensive.
So yeah, in the case of like the Red Mage party, though, you're not going to be able to get very many of them anyway, so it's going to tail off for Fuchsia, but Mono and Will
True.
definitely will be able to take advantage of that. Although, outside of Life 2, the spell pool for White Mage is not so hot.
Yeah, I'd say the last hope for the White Mage for Will is if something really good like Fade or Exit is at rank 5. But even then, you don't get as many charges as you would like.
Yeah, Cure 4 and Heal 3 are available, but I feel like they don't save as much time with respect to just another Red Mage that can double down on the AoE. If you get a White Mage with Fade plus the healing spells, that's really the nicest option. But it just, you're not guaranteed it, and it just feels like when you don't get Fade on the White Mage, it's a slog with that character.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that one. But taking a White Mage does, does again allow for greater access to healing. And increased chance of having, life not be locked out of whatever caster you chose. Wow, that is Ice 2 Scums.
Hey, everybody else has Ice too. Why not the Scums? Oh, yikes.
And wall. Gross.
Alright, so this is kind of a disgusting marsh cave, but the nice thing about it is the TNT is in the top half rather than the bottom half, so you don't have to go through 3 floors only to die at the stairs. You only have to go through 1.
An incredible run out by Will. Oh no, he didn't. Did he save? Okay, good.
Yeah.
You always save before you take a single step on the overworld because that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, no, he didn't pull a me. And hey, this is, Ice 2 Scums is where a play like the pop grind from Mono really pays off.
Yeah, that's very true. You just have the health to survive that kind of nonsense a little bit better. Alright, so that's a canoe pickup for Fuchsia.
Question in chat, how long is FFR race? It's about 2 hours, but we've definitely seen finishes in hour 30 before. So just somewhere in that 1:30 to 2 hour range.
But much like other randomizers, the potential for trolling and a longer seed is there.
Alright, exit at level 6, so that's gonna help Will make up some time.
Yeah, that is nice to see. Of note, I don't think we've found Fast or Temper yet. Unless I missed it.
No, I haven't seen it either, and that's where Mono will have the advantage with the Black Mage.
Fast and Temper are so good that even just 1 or 2 charges of either can be a real difference maker in some of the boss fights.
Just the way that Absorb works in this game, it's sort of strictly an additive calculation. If you can push your fighter with multiple hits over the top of the Absorb threshold, then suddenly they'll go from doing no damage to actually doing appreciable damage, which is a big help in Temple of Fiends. Question in chat, there are increased walking speeds. So for the randomizer, in order to finish a run quickly, there have been a number of quality of life changes and conveniences added. So the increased walking speed is one. There have been animation speed changes as well. And all of those put together just means you can get through some of the non-interactive portions of the game a lot quicker. Hey, we got Warp at level 5. And Nuke.
Alright, so level 5, pretty good level. It's alright.
Yeah, so big payoff for Mono here, being able to do the warp trick, and chances are pretty good that if he goes Volcano Ice, he'll be able to, pull that off.
Also worth noting too that even though Nuke is not learnable by the Red Mage, Red Wizards can learn Nuke at that spot in Melman. So if he wants to come back and pick that up later once he finds the tail, that is certainly an option available to him.
Yeah, and important to note that he is going to find the tail because of the rules of this round. See Mono doing the old Artea play, and he's going to check early Earth, see if he finds anything.
Early Earth is definitely a small gamble, but not a huge one. This encounter table hasn't been perfect for it, but there are a few gaps you could take advantage of in resetting to get some nice walks.
Question in chat, why does the spot of the spell matter? The permissions for the spells are related to vanilla. So rather than just having everything at a level learnable or not, it's tied to what was in the vanilla slot. If, say, the red mages were able to learn everything at 5 and 6, there would be no reason to ever take a black mage. So it's kind of the compromise. It's a little less user-friendly, but you have to limit the power of red mages.
Yeah, they would be a little busted otherwise. And arguably, they're still, I mean, I have a bit of a bias toward red mages. I think in general they're more useful than black mages, but there are certainly areas where a black mage is better than a red mage, just depending on where those spells land. So, but red mages do have a much cooler looking hat than black mages, so there is also that.
Yeah, they're also a lot sturdier with the larger HP pool and the ability to equip, I think it's up to silver armor.
Yes. Yeah, between silver armor and chain armor, your red mages are definitely a lot more durable than the brittle black mages.
So, top part of Earth doesn't pay off in the form of a progression item, but Mono finds a ribbon.
Ribbon is a great defensive find. Provides status protection against every element in the game. Very nice to have for the final Temple of Fiends Revisited fight.
Yeah, and you definitely feel safe going through dungeons when you have a ribbon on your character that has life 2. The instant death spells and abilities can still go through ribbons, but it's not super likely.
Also, it hasn't been mentioned yet, but Fuchsia Fantasy is trying to score points with me by going to ordeals first, and it's working. We haven't talked about too much, but there are 2 incentivized chests in this game. And by incentivized, we mean that they have been kind of spiked to have a high likelihood of something good being in them. And in the flags that we're running right now, there are 2 incentivized chests. One of them is in Castle Ordeals, which is where Fuchsia is going right now, and the other one is in Ice Cave. And the reason those 2 locations have been incentivized is because they're not strictly required to enter to beat the game. So we incentivize the chests in those 2 locations to kind of make it more worth your while to go there. So Fuchsia is going to Castle Ordeals early to try to hit up that incentivized chest there and see what's there.
And it looked like a pretty quick ordeals, to be honest. Makes it to the Nightmare Trap tile, and enjoy your copper bracelet. I'd rather have the heal staff instead.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So, in the incentive chests, there can be a pool of either any of the progression items or, the key items that you have not seen yet, or the ribbon or the Masmian. So, lots of good stuff, and we'll see shortly what Fuchsia picks up here. And those are some man-cats.
Maybe later we'll encounter some men-cats and catmen.
A lit 3 at level 6 as well.
Ooh, second ribbon and gold bracelet and the meme sword in Castle Ordeals.
So, pretty loaded. And not having to buy a gold bracelet is certainly going to help.
Oh, and the
Hey!
tail!
So that's pretty sweet. Not 100% required to finish the game, but 100% required to finish this round of the league race.
And with Fuchsia's particular party, there's no incentive to like wait to class change. So basically, as soon as he has access to the airship, he's probably going to go and do his class change. And Fuchsia's particular party benefits quite a bit from class change. The fighter will be able to equip pretty much everything possible that is useful for him, and the red mages get a little bit more spell selection and a little bit more weapon selection as well.
Oh, Fuchsia.
So yeah, always go to ordeals, kids.
Yeah, the best weapon that Fuchsia has found so far is the Vorpal. Unfortunately, no floater to do that class change immediately, but there's still Volcano and Ice.
And speaking of Volcano, Mono is saving right outside of the Volcano himself, so that progression difference is key here. So we'll see if Mono finds anything in the Volcano other than a required boss fight.
Looks like Mono has kept track of the encounter table, and it's just going to reset off 3 quick encounters. Will is going to blast these Peds, which is always a good time. They're loaded with experience.
They can be tough to bring down, depending on how they rolled their stats, though.
Yeah, and that's sort of the difference between having 1 source of AoE and 3 sources. Looks like they rolled relatively low HP, but 1 Ice 2 not getting the job done.
Yeah, that is the disadvantage of Will's party comp, the way the seeds rolled, is he just doesn't have a lot of AoE compared to the other 2 runners. Ooh, black shirt pickup in the armory in Volcano there for Mono.
So everybody's got access to ice magic now. And looks like he's just going to walk this out.
Alright, and we got Fuchsia heading toward the top of Earth Cave, where he will not find much in the first floor. If he dives deeper than Mono did into Earth and finds something important, that could be a key difference in this race here. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, he's got to find the second ribbon. The question is, how is he going to try for the chests that aren't protected by the Earth Elemental on the second floor? Question in chat. To show some class means class change is required or banned? Class change is required to complete Stage 8.
Yeah, I guess we'd have to change it to don't show some class.
Bunch of no class heroes.
Or we could change it to show some sass, and then whoever has the most clever party naming scheme would win.
So I think Mono is just gonna burn a bunch of ice charges fighting fire elementals to get caught up on levels. Not a super bad play, but
He did already grind a little bit on Peninsula Power, so perhaps this is his, I don't think I'm going to grind, Agamas or do any crazy power leveling schemes, so this might be his way of doing it in a safer manner so he has the levels to take out carry.
yeah, one of the big problems is there hasn't been a particularly powerful mid-range sword that's been found yet. No flame sword, no ice sword, no sun sword. So, Fuchsia diving Earth. We'll find a ribbon shortly. Mono throwing some ice charges in the face of fire elementals, and it's Will's turn to do ordeals, which, as we know, is required by the rules of this round. And it looks like the teleporter maze is pretty friendly. Runs into a pack of Medusa, and a couple Fire 2s will take them out, but he likes to run instead. And we have a deep dive. And I think with Fire 2 charges, you can certainly take out that Earth Elemental. And I think that's what he's going to do. Meanwhile, Will runs into a pack of Zombies. He's got Fire 2 and Harm 3, so getting through this pack, not as hard as it normally would be with only one spellcaster. Or offensive spellcaster, excuse me. Oh, comment in chat, Will doesn't have Fire 2. Yeah, so relying on just Harm 3 charges, this could be pretty troublesome for Will. Makes it through this fight, but he's going to burn through a lot of heal potions.
It is good to see him heading toward ordeals, though, because the sooner you find that tail, the better off you are as far as your routing.
Holy cow. Well, Mono just found max gold. There's 65k. And he also finds, hey, it's a red dragon wandering away from his tile.
Ooh, Fuchsia finds the white shirt and a katana and thinks real hard about resetting out, but I think he decides to walk it out instead. Haven't seen much for Invis 2 charges or anything like that, so that I think him wanting to keep that is not a terrible idea.
Yeah, sometimes the evasion items make the biggest difference depending on how brutal Temple of Fiends is. The big disadvantage, though, is no access to warp or exit. He's going to have to take the long way out, and it's going to cost him probably about 2 to 3 minutes in comparison to the folks he's racing against.
Yeah, that is very true.
Holy crap, that red giant!
Stogie just got destroyed.
Good night to the fighter, jeez.
Well, luckily they have the best heal spell in the game, so...
Holy cow. Those guys are bad enough, but when you add multiple hits to them, that's just not fair.
Yeah, a lot of people get worried about other fights in Volcano, but to me, the double red giant fight in the randomizer is one of the scariest encounters in here.
Yeah, especially when doing sort of the solo black belt grind. Hey, there's another group 8.
Oh, wow.
The solo black belt grind is very vulnerable to those high variance fights, and so running into like a pack of 2 red giants and having to punch your way out feels really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Fuchsia is diving further, and he finds a power gauntlet.
Oh, and he stops.
So the rest of the items, probably very difficult to dig those out, especially when you don't have warp or exit.
I don't blame him. If you've already committed to going that far and walking out the white shirt, at that point you might as well check maybe 1 or 2 more.
But yeah, nobody wants to check that chest in the upper right, Fuchsia included, so he's just going to walk this out. And
The power gauntlet's a pretty nice find, though, because knowing he has that in his possession and kind of knowing where temper is and fast it has to be, I think, level 7 or higher. So he might be able to ride that power gauntlet to boss kills in Temple of Fiends. So knowing where it is and having it in your possession definitely can affect your routing and leveling strategy for the rest of the seed.
well, the other benefit is he can use that to get low-level boss kills as well. I mean, he hasn't found anything better than the Rune Sword right now, but he can just throw a bunch of power buffs off of that, white shirt buffs, and probably roll some of the early fiends.
Yeah, Carry 1 is not to be underestimated. She can hit very hard, and there are a vast array of awful spells that the bosses in the first round of boss randomization have access to.
So Volcano coming up empty, and Mono's going to take a shot at the boss here.
Alright, well, speaking of Carry, we'll see. You know, he took some extra levels on those fires earlier. So we'll see how this goes for him. Keep your eyes on the upper right screen here.
Gonna go with the double fog 2 strat, and if Carry's damage comes from having a multitude of hits, that's gonna be a benefit.
Oh, and it was! Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
that was 186 damage through a cast of fog 2.
Yeah, 8 hits, so he's gonna have to stack those a lot harder, I think.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, this is not going well, and when Ice 3 is pretty much your primary source of damage, this is gonna be an ugly fight. Hero Brack strats?
He thought about it. He thought about it. Oh, Mono, at this point, Fog 2 is your only hope. But yeah, Carrie does resist. Even though she's the Fiend of Fire, she is a Lilith, so does resist all 3 of the primary elements, in addition to a few other things. The only thing she has a weakness to is status magic, which I don't believe Mono has access to. Oh, she has almost no hit points and gets a kill! Wow. That was incredible. The randomizer taketh away, but the randomizer also giveth. So you've got a glass cannon carry fight there.
And now Mono's going to go back in to check the top chests. So, Orb of Fire lit for Mono. And
So,
we'll see if he decides to go to Ice or Ordeals next.
Either one of those would be a very solid play. We know Ordeals to be a correct choice that he will eventually have to go to, but there could be something important in Ice for all we know.
Oh, Mono, Wizard Staff was hanging out in the damn chest up here.
Wizard Staff, of course, when used in battle, casts Confuse, which is status magic, and as I previously mentioned, Carrie is weak against status magic. That is hilarious.
That is just the game giving you a big middle finger right there. Mono and I have talked before about randomizers knowing when you skip the chest, and that's just one example.
Wow. A lot of people like checking those chests before they go deep in Volcano if they have access to Warp. But routing them in later is not a terrible idea either, because you can just reset out if you don't like what's in them. But I can't think of much use Wizard Staff has now after you've already killed Carrie.
You can still hit Kraken with it, but that's a Hail Mary. I would rather cast Brack.
Ooh, the red gargoyles have quite a few hits. That was 4 hits I saw.
Yeah, that's the importance of having armor.
Chainmail for the win. Mono electing to take this EXP to fight. I wonder if he'll be walking out of this volcano here.
He still has one chest to check, so. I mean, after this fire combination, he still has to check the one to the south of the winding maze here. And chat making a good point. No one on the stream has gone down to the basement of Marsh, so if Floater is down there and someone made that gamble, they are very, very likely way ahead.
Considering that the Scums had Ice 2, that would be a pretty tough gamble to make.
Shadows with petrification as well. If I see anything that has something nasty in Marsh, I'm leaving. And I think most other runners would do the same.
Question in chat, how many off-stream runners? There is one more runner off-stream.
Alright, so Fuchsia gonna go through Volcano. Finds the white shirt, or the black shirt to go with the white shirt. And has a pretty loaded inventory right now.
Yeah, he's definitely doing pretty alright for himself as far as his items and equipment goes.
Alright, Will first to enter the ice cave. And I don't know if he picked up warp charges or not, so see if he decides to do the levitation trick.
Also worth noting that by going to Volcano now, Fuchsia, I believe, will have access to all 3 ribbons very early in the game, which is always nice to have.
So there's one in Volcano and one in Earth. Where was the third?
I believe it was in Ordeals.
Ah, gotcha. Yep. So, yeah, all 3. This is a luxury seed. Most runners are going to finish with all 3 ribbons.
I'd like to think of it as a pretty princess ribbon seed.
Oh, that's a pretty good analogy as well.
Alright, so we'll shortly be seeing the content, or the first batch of contents of chests on Wilkelios' screen here. I'm very curious to see what will end up being in both the regular chests and the incentivized chests in Ice Cave. Is that Mono heading toward Ordeals, I see?
Oh, yeah. No ice
Feels
cave
good.
for Mono. To be perfectly honest, though, if you're still looking for any incentive items, and no, there's been no crown, no floater, no slab found yet.
Yeah, and from Mono's point of view, no tail yet either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you found floater anywhere else, that you're still gonna check Ordeals. So,
but the memes, Edge, the memes.
The memes are important, but they're way better when the Ordeals isn't incentivized.
Exactly. So this way you can have your memes and still have it be a correct play. It's a win-win.
I never thought of it that way. I guess you're right. Will does not have warp, so fights the mages for their Thor hammer, which getting that before Sea Shrine always feels good.
Yes, that is very true. Alright, so based on Will's setup here, it looks like he did not or was not able to purchase warp before Ice Cave, so he'll have to slog his way through normally. We're getting to enjoy the first 2 seconds of the Castle Ordeal soundtrack over and over again. So Mono did reset out of Ordeals, and you might be confused as to why he's doing that, but if you take too many warps in Ordeals, it is possible to soft lock your game because the game can't handle as many warps as we would like it to. So Mono, having known which pillars are bad, will be able to get through here much faster with his less bad warps.
Yeah, I mean, many lunches are good, many warps not so much.
No. You can't eat your spare warps, for example.
And, well, now it's time for Fuchsia to stack Fog 2 and hope for the best.
Yeah, having 3 casts of it is pretty significant here. And he's got that power gauntlet, so he'll be able to fight through the defense that Carry has and turn his mediocre weapons into something pretty good. Yeah, was that 8 hits for Carry for only 8 damage?
Oh, there's the crit. Alright, and Fuchsia trying to stun Carry right now.
Hold has a pretty low accuracy. Even if Carry is weak against it, it still doesn't have very good odds of hitting.
Yeah, Confuse, a lot more mileage out of that.
But considering these red mages don't have a whole lot else to do, Hold probably one of the more useful things.
Oh,
and he does successfully hit one.
Got it. So this is where you just go right in.
Did he just go for the meme Brack strats?
I think so.
We'll never see him.
Oh.
Alright, so a good first attempt carry there from Fuchsia. And gets one last red giant ambush. That's the thing of nightmares right there if you're using a black belt.
It's one of those fights where it's like, oh, I'm going to burn 30 heal potions just to be safe, because I know there's probably 2 fire elementals hanging around the corner waiting to jump me.
Yep. Alright, so Mono finds his second ribbon and gold bracelet here in Ordeals and is about to pick up his tail. So he's going to be very happy to see that.
So the way it's just shaping out, I wouldn't be surprised if Crown showed up in Sky. Just I feel like if you end up with Floater and then no other incentive items, there's a pretty good chance of that happening. And my guess is that Floater is going to be the incentive item, although it could be, there's still regular chests to check yet.
Yeah, we're getting to the bulk of chests in Ice Cave here.
It's kind of interesting. All of the runners have, very different routes so far. Will doing the optional dungeons first before Volcano. But they're all going to converge on one another relatively soon. And,
yeah, not finding the Floater anywhere yet has really made that apparent.
Really, the only large variance, and Will finds the slab. So,
ooh, that's nice.
Like I said, Crown and Sky.
Yep.
Seems even more likely now.
Ruby could be in the Ice Cave here, though, which could put Floater at the bottom of Earth Cave. So
yeah,
you never know.
It's always an option if we want the full clear option.
Oh, cremate wizards! Yikes!
So one of the nicest things about the new Unrunnable shuffle that's coming out is the fact that you don't have to fight these guys. Maybe.
I like how you threw that maybe on right at the end. Because knowing Arlok, wizards will still be unrunnable.
So this is the danger of putting the Thor hammer not on the character with the most HP.
Yeah, this is rough for Will.
Yeah, so that's a tactical error, and he's gonna have to cut his way out. And I think just with okay.
Oh, they have Blaze. Jesus.
Yeah, this isn't gonna happen. That is very unfortunate for Will. And Mono's going to have a lot easier time of it with better levels and access to warp.
Yeah, and one more ribbon. So you can see Mono's what started the game slightly behind because he spent that time on Peninsula Power, but having access to those levels and that equipment and gold earlier just kind of smooths out the rest of your run.
So Fuchsia and Mono, next destinations will certainly be Ice Cave. Mono picking up pro rings on the way through. So yeah, everybody except the fighter with pro rings, and I guess buying only 3 is fine. You have a ton of life 2 charges, and you're very likely to find a 4th in a treasure chest. So
Yeah, that's not a terrible play.
oh, Will really likes that Thor hammer.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him, really. He already got super destroyed by wizards, so picking that up now for a little insurance is not a terrible idea. Alright, well, we've got ourselves an Ice Cave party here on the stream. And as usual, Mono's running a little late.
Blame the catering company.
He sat there trying to figure out how much to tip for his lunches.
So since all of our runners have sort of converged on the same point here, I think it might be a good idea to talk about the grand finals for the Final Fantasy Randomizer League. So the 3 participants in this season's grand finals are going to be Artea, Minochi, who you see on stream, and Tristal. And each of those runners will be running in 3 races that also use the same scoring system as the league. So,
and the reason it's those 3 runners is that all 3 of those guys won at least 1 race in all 8 rounds of the league, which is an impressive feat, to say the least.
yeah, not a surprise to see who is at the top of the league races. I know Artea, Mono, and Tristal all definitely put some hard work in. So congratulations to all 3 of them, but there are still more challenges for them to come, and we're hoping y'all tune in for those. Files, you want to go over the race rules?
Sure. So there are 3 races coming. And as you mentioned, the scoring system for the races is the same as it was throughout the league. The winner of the race earns 0 chaos points, and then each subsequent finish after that earns chaos points equal to the percentage of their time over whoever was the winner. So the closer you are to whoever wins, the less points you get. And then after 3 races, the person with the least amount of points will be declared the Season 1 League champion. So the first race we have is a spiked vanilla race. That is a usual kind of flag set with the goal of defeating chaos, just like it is in this race. But all the treasures are unshuffled and in their vanilla locations.
And if I might interrupt, there's another option that we forgot, and that's incentivize crown. So time to do the crown quest by vote.
Nothing says lame sauce like having to hoof that crown chest around the entire overworld on foot. But that's what our runners are going to have to do, because progression will be either at the bottom of Marsh or behind a crown lock chest.
Well, it makes it interesting, though, that leaving Ice Cave, you very much could be in go mode. And if Will decides to not do Volcano and just go straight for the crown chest, he could be in go mode. He could go mode Volcano, which will let him pick up quite a bit of time on Mono and Fuchsia.
He will be down 2 ribbons if he does that, though, because if he go modes Volcano and Earth, he'll miss out on 2 ribbons, which is rough. Alright, so while our runners finish clearing out these areas, we'll get back to the grand finals discussion. So that first race is Spiked Vanilla, as we mentioned. Standard rules, defeat the end boss, but the difference is that treasures are unshuffled and in their vanilla locations. So I don't know, that should be pretty interesting. Since you know where all the items are, since it's based off of vanilla, you can kind of it's one of those races I think where doing your homework ahead of time will be real beneficial because you can kind of plan out your route.
And that's almost certainly going to be a super, super quick race. It's going to be one of those races where pure execution is going to be favored versus the ability to improvise, which, it's an interesting variant, and certainly looking forward to see how each of the entrants does.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of the interesting strategy will be apparent from the beginning of the race because how you choose to make your party composition will be very kind of indicative of how you want to run that race. If you're mage heavy, you could be relying on the spells, being shuffled in your favor, and if you're not, that will also be indicative. So, should be a good time to watch. The next round, round 2, which I think is the most unique of the 3 races, it has been deemed the FFR Monster Hunter, the Final Fantasy Randomizer Monster Hunter. So the goal in this race is very unique. You have to kill one member of each enemy sprite. So there are 55 sprites in total. So that means, for example, on the screen of Fuchsia right now, you see 2 sprites. You see the mummy-looking sprite and the bird sprite. So those count for both. Like, for example, the mummy sprite would count for both the mummy and the whiz mummy. So you just have to kill those sprites and mark them off on your tracker to have them finished. So the goal is to defeat all 55 sprites that are available. The only 2 that I believe were removed were War Mech and Chaos, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
So it's really interesting, routing around, trying to, we know where these enemy sprites are, but being able to find them and kill them and survive doing so is very interesting. So that should be pretty hype. That's the most unique race that I've seen. I'm really looking forward to that one.
I am not, because that means everyone has to kill Tyros.
Well, no, somebody could force the T-Rex fight, Edge. Come on. You just gotta believe.
Not gonna happen.
Well, what if Formation 8 is the first after the encounter reset?
Alright, so what is that, like a 3 in 256 chance of that happening?
Let me have this, Edge. I have to have it. Otherwise, I can't go on. All right, and then the last of the 3 races is the Chaos Rush race, which is kind of a new development that the developers of the randomizer have made. At the very beginning of the game, all 4 orbs of the bosses are lit. So the gate to Temple of Fiends is open, and all the key lock doors in the Temple of Fiends have been just removed. So that means from the very start of the game, you have access to the very end Temple of Fiends Revisited fight. So all you need to do is prepare your party in such a way that you believe you could take on the Temple of Fiends Revisited and kill Chaos. So that is a very interesting race. Treasures will still be randomized, as will spells, but you just have to get strong enough to the point where you believe you can take on the final bosses.
So I'm super interested in seeing how that turns out, because I suspect Crystal's going to run 42 Black Belt, but I have no idea what Artea's going to do.
Something wacky that will end up performing a lot better than anyone would guess would be my estimate.
Well, I mean, this could just very well be, this is equipment dependent versus equipment independent. If you're not going to run Black Belt, then you do have to find ribbons. Just that magic resistance is going to be super important to have.
And even if you do run a 42 Black Belt, it is still possible to get hit by things even with the higher magic defense. A ribbon is still very nice to have.
I have seen Crystal take solo 42 Black Belt, no ribbon dives, and be successful before. So I'm just curious what is everyone's risk tolerance going to be? I think that's basically what this round comes down to, and it's going to be pretty hilarious to find out.
Yeah, there could be a lot of crushed dreams in that race, which having it be the final of the 3 races makes it all the more hilarious. So shout outs to you and Maya and the other people involved in the creation of this league, because I think the creation of those grand finals race types was just really awesome. Meanwhile, we've got all 3 of our runners just hoofing their way all the way across the world doing this crown chain.
Hey, there's the kindly old king.
There's no way he's has any ulterior motives, I don't think.
What?
Oh my god, it was Astos this entire time?
Holy cow.
Wow.
Question in chat. Someone is asking about 42, and I mean, in addition to being, the answer to life, the universe, and everything, it's also the major power break point for black belts. So they get 2 extra hits going from level 32 to level 42, and that's important because that is a huge spike in the amount of damage that black belt can do.
Oh yeah. In addition to their offense going up every level, those breakpoints are very large jumps in their offensive capability. Alright, so we got keys for both Will and Mono here, so they'll be checking the Elfland Treasure Repository. And apparently it was just their bank, because that was a lot of money. So Mono going back to the Elfland armor shop and picking up gold bracelets for the rest of his party here. Might as well put that stolen elf money to use.
He's just embezzling it so that he can spread it around the Elfland economy.
He's like Robin Hood. He's robbing from the rich king and giving, redistributing the economy.
Yes,
investing in local businesses.
To the now rich merchant.
Yeah, I guess he really should have given it to the townspeople if he really wanted to make that work.
Yeah, cut a hole in the gold sack and just ride through town, right?
That sounds about right. Knowing Mono, I'm surprised he didn't just buy everybody lunch. Worth noting, Mono did correctly remember to pick up his bottle with his ill-gotten money gains, as did Will.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why he didn't buy anybody anything. He's gonna get some wine with lunch, but a bottle costs like 10K.
Yeah, bottle service in Elfland, very expensive. It looked like Will was gonna head over toward the Astos crown locked chests and perhaps or the bottom of Marsh, but thought better of it and reset out to go back to Corneria instead.
Well, Thorhammer and Mage Staff, both good finds. Again, before getting into Sea Shrine. Exceptionally useful to have both of those on someone that can't cast spells to clear out the ghosts and the Wisahag Arsahag formation. Thank you for the stolen elf bit, Seeker.
I guess it stole an elf bit, but yes, good stuff. Edge, your in-game avatar just got wrecked by imps on the way to the Temple of Fiends. Good stuff.
Why am I the fighter?
Who knows? All I know is that I'm the red mage. That makes me happy. Well, so far the standard crown chests have not given us the progression. So if it ain't here, and it's not, That means there's only a couple more places left. That's Dwarf Cave and the bottom of Marsh Cave.
Well, the bottom of Marsh would be hilarious because the floater is more likely to be in an unlocked chest than it is in a locked chest.
Yep. Although
Yeah.
pure numbers wise, at this point, that probably isn't the case anymore.
Well, Melee Wizard makes a good point. It could be in the chests that haven't been checked in Earth. So the 4 chests that in Earth Floor 3 that nobody likes to check.
Well, if we find Ruby in any one of these Crown Lock chests, Marsh Cave will continue to get put off because I think all these runners will go to Earth instead.
It is hilarious though that everyone, the world opened up, everyone decided to go in completely different directions that have now all converged on doing the Crown Quest at the same time.
The amusing thing is if Floater ends up being non-Crown Locked, every single one of these runners will feel like they're behind, when in reality they won't be that much different from each other.
It really depends on how you metagame everyone else that's playing. If there's something good in the basement of Marsh, even if it's unlocked, I feel like nobody was going to find it because Ice 2 Scums and Shadows with Petrification, no thanks. Not early.
Very true. Still, though, you can never underestimate the stubbornness of some runners.
That is true, but I mean, they would probably have spent, like 20 minutes getting Meat Grinder just trying to get that out, so... I mean, it's if they got lucky enough to get that out, then, they can have the win, that's fine.
You know what? I'm not even mad. You win. We've also got confirmed nothing good in Dwarf Cave. So, Mono is checking the Northwest Castle here.
Mono is also out of tents and cabins, so if it's not here... Ugh. Alright, so I think that's what, 6 in Marsh and 4 in Earth?
Yep. Oh, wait, wouldn't it be 7? 3 and 3 locked, 4 regular?
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Math is hard.
Never do math on stream, right?
Never. We've got a lot of talk of rubies in chat right now. I'm liking it. Wow, and those scums just ice 2ing everybody. Having all 3 ribbons and life 2 makes this a lot more doable, though. Alright, Mono makes his way through second basement.
So Mono, it's interesting. Definitely yielded some time to the other runners in doing the pop grind, but has slowly made that up through execution and the benefits of having those extra levels and money to the point where he is in the lead out of all of the runners right now.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of strategies that reduce variance in the long run. And if you play a lot of randomizers, you recognize the value of that. Sometimes it'll lose you close races or kind of, really fast layout randomized seeds. But in general, sometimes these well-executed, very optimized safety strats can end up being a real benefit to you in the long run.
Yeah,
Wow.
It is. Unlocked floater.
Unlocked floater.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, Mono.
Mono rage double-checking those chests. And while you're here...
I mean, he's in go mode now. He doesn't really need to open it.
Yeah, I think Mono was like, do I check the rest of these chests? And he's like, what could I possibly want except maybe a slightly better weapon? Does Mono have the power gauntlet? I don't remember. I don't think he does.
No, he doesn't. And that's a question of I'm sure Mono is going to pick up sort of the quote-unquote greed chest as he goes along through. Question is that Power Gauntlet chest close enough? Doesn't take that many steps to get to, but it's only one chest, and
Yeah.
I've never picked it up on the way through.
The only greed chest I take on that floor is sometimes the one in the very center in the north part of that floor of Earth Cave, because it's relatively quick to grab, but it's a tough call. I mean, he might find Masamune somewhere in another greed chest, but odds of that are pretty low, so it'll be interesting to see how Mono decides to handle the rest of the seed.
Yeah, the other issue is no sign of fast yet either, and if that lands in 8, then you don't have very many temper charges. If you're going with Vorpal, then you're either going to need levels or you're going to need you either need levels or you need some way to boost.
Yeah, whether that's Power Gauntlet or Temper or Fast. Now, Fast for Mono could work out if Fast is on like level 7. You know, he might be able to get one charge out of his Black Wizard, depending on how high he wants to level. Because I believe the first charge of level 7 is, I believe, at 20 for Black Mages, and then level 8 is, I believe, 25. So that's a lot of levels to throw into a Black Mage for only one cast or 2 of a spell.
Alright, that's everything. Time to see how fast Mono can clear all the dungeons.
Yep. He'll pick up his cube, since we know where that is, so he is opting to check these greed chests here. Can't say I blame him.
They are very, very low effort, and, well, Cardi Islands is probably next on the checklist if he's going to do that.
Yep, you have to go there and class change anyway, so might as well.
So, Floater for Fuchsia, and Will is about to pick his up.
Mono forgetting that he already has the bottle. Doesn't need to check the Desert Caravan.
He's just stopping in for lunch.
So I think there's a lot of things that Mono may be looking for here in the Cardia Islands, but one of those being the Power Gauntlet. You already know that that's in Earth Floor 3.
Also needs to promote.
Oh yeah, he has to come here anyway. I'm just trying to think of like items that he would want to get out of these chests.
No, that's one.
Yep, some sort of acceptable.
I think by endgame you would want to use the Vorpal over the Sun Sword, but for the mid-game bosses, I don't know, that might be a little bit better.
Well, I believe he put Saber on one of his red mages, so if he wants to save 2 or 3 Saber charges for a red wizard holding Vorpal for one of the bosses, that could be a way to get through one of them. Mono's out of warp charges, has to walk out like a pleb. Poor guy.
What's interesting is that anybody that did the Black Belt grind strat would probably be at an advantage at this point, being in go mode, but not needing any extra weapon equipment. All the people with fighters in the party are going to keep opening chests for sure, but anybody that did the grind really doesn't need to.
Yeah, very true. I think the only way that would have possibly backfired on you is if you did check the bottom of Marsh Cave somehow first, because then you would be tempted to go, to Mirage or Sea Shrine or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, but with so many incentivized items as Will finds the floater, So many incentivized items available. I think you'd almost certainly check ordeals in Ice Cave.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. And you'll stumble across everything that you need in both of those locations. I'm just here to discuss possibilities, Edge.
Yeah, certainly a Sea Shrine play wouldn't be out of the question, though, and anybody that full cleared that, unless they found Masmian or Adamant, they'd lose a ton of time on that.
Alright, so Mono picking up his Oxyale from the ferry. Nothing says I'm extra annoyed like forgetting to do that crucial step and walking all the way to Onrak and not having a way to breathe underwater.
Well, it's better than walking all the way to Lefane and realizing you left your dictionary at home.
Very true. Alright, so Mono did elect to go back and pick up Nuke on his red mages.
So right now, Mono's party comp looking pretty solid. Level 5, pretty loaded, but post-class change, the Red Wizards can learn pretty much everything you would want them to learn in this game.
Yeah, I'd say the only spell they're really missing out on that you would want would be Cure 4, but that's a stretch.
Comment in chat, it's better than going to Temple of Fiends and forgetting you didn't turn in the crown. As they try to stuff the crown into the key slot.
You just break off one of the tines on the top of the crown, try to pick the lock. That seems like it would be faster than, running all the way back.
I don't get it. I stuck the cross part into the slot and turned.
Well, we've got certain members of chats demanding hat talk, so I'll accommodate. Edge, how do you feel about the red mage to red wizard hat change? I feel like with the sprite getting taller, there's less room for the hat to show off its majesty and beauty, so I'm actually in favor of the red mage hat over the red wizard hat.
Well, I mean, if I could see the red wizard hat, then maybe, but he's so damn tall.
And also worth noting, Mono is checking the greed chests in Earth. Is he gonna check the greed chest? Alright, is he gonna walk by the power gauntlet? We're about to find out after the unrunnable wizard fight. I have a feeling he's gonna walk past it.
Yeah, probably.
The other hat discussion to make is the black mage goes from having a cool pointy hat to no hat at all. So I had to say, in general, the hat game gets a lot weaker on class upgrade.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the black wizard. If anything, he suddenly looks very authoritarian. Like it's those big shoulder pads and just, I don't know.
He looks like a bad guy in a Doctor Strange comic.
That's a good way of putting it.
I mean, there are time loops in this game, so it's actually quite apropos. He does have much better cowl game, though, than his predecessor. So I'll give the robe upgrade a little bit of point. Right, so Mono is blowing down doors here, going through Earth Cave as fast as possible. Gets a hero run in that 9 formation. So he goes for this greed chest with a spike tile, but doesn't go for the one that doesn't have a fight.
Going full mono.
I just want to roll up a newspaper and just hit him with it.
Okay, well, Earth has a lot of HP.
Yep. I love that he's paying for this. This is good stuff right here.
Alright, well, Fuchsia right behind. Probably not going to check any chests in here.
Yeah, if he blew by the easier greed chests in the upper right corner of this floor, he's probably going to skip all the rest of it. Meanwhile, we've got Will doing his Cardia Island checks. He will be class upgrading real shortly as well here. Ooh, I missed the vampire sword. Which one was that?
It was a short sword.
Oh, was it? Okay, so not at all relevant.
Yeah. It was the, it's only relevant lore-wise. That's what happened to the last adventure. That's all that's left of him.
We'll see the window was up on screen for such a short amount of time, Edge. I just couldn't see it.
I guess it would be a tall order.
Alright, so Will on his way to Bahamut for his hat downgrade, but is required for this round.
So, have we seen Dragon Armor or Opal Armor yet?
Boy, I know we've seen Opal Shield. I think we might have seen Opal Armor. We'll have to keep an eye on either Mono or Fuchsia.
Yeah, Will doesn't have it, but Will also hasn't been to Volcano yet. Fuchsia jumping into the lead now, so...
Oh, so Mono going for these greed chests. I guess he does have a warp charge. He's punished for it by an unrunnable wizard fight, though.
Oh, one of the runners actually sold the Opal Armor, so I wonder who that could be.
That's a bold play with so many ribbons.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, the ice sword. That's not a terrible grab for Mono, actually.
Opal Armor plus ribbon is functionally equivalent to Dragon Armor, so... Ugh. More wizards.
Yeah, Mono's not in a great part of the encounter table for this floor of the Earth Cave. So Fuchsia definitely gonna pull ahead just a little bit. Also not checking those chests. Because he does not need to with that power gauntlet. So it's hard to say whose race this is right now, because Mono and Fuchsia are very close. And Will's not super far behind him.
Will still has to do Volcano, but he can probably go mode it. Although, I would be very surprised. Oh, Mono's gonna go for these chests. So, skipping
Full Mono.
Skipping the one chest that has anything good in it.
Hey, Masamune could be down here. We don't know, Edge. We don't know.
That's true. How about another ice sword? And a bat.
Too bad you can't somehow dual wield a bat.
Yeah, I mean, they're indestructible, right?
And they have ruined many a race before the randomizer devs removed some of the more obnoxious ones.
Poor J. Coper. Alright, Mono's done screwing around. He's just gonna nuke this formation down.
I'm a little surprised that he hasn't elected to for this.
Oh, but you gotta go down another menu page and... Will, you leave that Tyro alone.
Will.
No.
No. Why? No. It's so sad. Look at him. He's adorable with his short little hands and his cute smile. He's
Right.
even going through a second round of menuing for it. That's like stopping to reload your gun after a murder to shoot him more.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Tyro to get through. 3 rounds. Oh my god, how much HP does he have?
A lot. Good lord.
Yikes. That is, well, enjoy your steak.
Edge and I are both firmly in the camp of Team Tyro. I feel like Tyro, he did his best. He fought back valiantly. Also made him take an entire 3 rounds. What more could you ask for from our glorious friend?
Fuchsia picking up Quad X because, I mean, why not? Picking up Quad X before Nuke, though.
Yeah, that's a that's a bold.
It's a bold strategy.
Oh, wow. Quad X, you know, capable of killing anything with less than 300 health, but, you know, Nuke can also just do more than 300 damage. Figure that one out. Although, to be fair, statistically, Nuke will always do, on average, less than 300 damage. Oh, those are some crack giants.
Yikes.
They sent out their crack squad.
And nobody died. Some crack squad. Alright, 6 chests in the waterfall. How easy is this seed gonna be? We're about to find out.
Yeah, it could be a great equalizer if something ridiculous like Masamune is in the waterfall cave chest.
Alright, Fuchsia is skipping waterfall. That's what you get for trying to do math on stream, Files.
Will's going
Will!
back for more. Come on, man.
Going back for seconds.
Ugh. It's just a shame.
It's a mistake. Alright, Will is firmly in old country buffet mode here.
Yeah, he's got like 3 plates loaded with prime rib. He's the guy that the manager has to come out and talk to. He's that one uncle that you're ashamed to go to the buffet with.
I mean, all you can eat doesn't mean it's all you should eat.
Nutrition life lessons with Edgeworth and Files.
Oh hey, life 2 on the night. Do we have enough life charges?
Why wouldn't you, really?
Well, this has become the world's safest seed. I say that, and then somebody's gonna get double nuked in Dover.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a that's a dangerous thing. I mean, neither one of us are actually running this race, so I'm totally okay with jinxing it, but that is a bold thing to say. Mono forgetting what is and is not worth picking up in White Magic shops for his knight, so he's double checking.
Oh, another cast of fog 2, maybe?
Kraken's tentacly appendages have ruined many an adventurer.
So Will's first to pick up the chime. Mono is going to be picking that up soon after. And I think Fuchsia is just committing to going through this, going full Vorpal here.
Somewhere, Zardia is smiling. Alright, Will opting to pick up some Ice 3 charges for his ninja here.
Oh, Saizon, come on, man. You're making me hungry. A side of wyvern wings?
Wait. Are you saying his advertisement of Tyro fried steak makes you hungry? Are you some kind of Trader Edge?
No, have you ever had anklo ribs?
Judging by their sprite, they come pre-barbecued.
It's great.
This is a risky talk for a race that's going on approximately right after lunchtime. Depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah, it would be right about lunchtime. So yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, may have to put in an order for some tri-tip after this.
Don't go to any buffets and embarrass yourself. Oh, we got Will still doing item checks in Earth, so there's a good chance he'll pick up a ribbon if he continues this kind of routing. He might also pick up the power gauntlet as well. And I have a feeling if he finds both of those two things, he'll be pretty set up for a good experience in Temple of Fiends.
Alright, so what's that? That's the second ribbon for Will, since he hasn't been to Volcano yet. And now the fog rolling in for Fuchsia.
"11 hits for 11 damage. The power of low visibility." See, now this is where 3 rounds of Brack would have been the meme strats.
I think 3 rounds of Brack would have worked pretty well too, to be honest. It's not as great of a percentage as, say, Tiamat, but it still hits Kraken appreciably enough where 3 mages casting it, it's probably going to work.
Yeah, I'd say the odds of failure there are pretty low, and certainly with 2 rounds of it, you're probably going to hit him once. And once is all it takes. Oh, we got one selection of Brack. Ooh, Thor's hammer doing a lot of work. Was that 172?
Yeah, so that was, it had to be close to a max damage hit. And, well, you just kill him with Ice 3 charges if he's going to repeatedly hit the Knight for nothing.
So yeah, Fuchsia spending kind of a little bit less time in his overworld shopping and what have you. Or at least he's doing it before these dungeons, because he has picked up a little bit of time over Mono.
Hey, another Group 8 for Mono.
Just think that could have been a T-Rex.
Fuchsia gonna run away from this Red Creep Frostgator fight. I like taking this, especially that's kind of late game. There aren't very many of, you know, the traditional popcorn mobs that you want to kill, but that the Frostgators give pretty good experience.
Yeah, and especially in a seed where a lot of runners, since the scaling on this seed or in these particular flags don't go especially high. You know, you're not seeing any of the runners opting to go with black belts here. You know, you could very comfortably complete a seed like this in your mid to low 20s for party levels. So picking up experience when it's handy and convenient is always a good idea.
Again, like this particular fight that Mono is skipping over right now, it's 5 Whiz Mummies. That's as ideal as it gets, I think, for that formation.
So Cube and Banesword picked up a Professional Cape, no amateurs allowed, and a Nightmare Horse.
Yeah, there we go. There's Adamant.
Hey, Adamant actually very relevant here. The X-Cal will be probably what he has his Night Wielding going into Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, that's certainly an endgame sword right there. Mono uses a tent instead of a cabin, and that moves his heal potions to the right side of the screen, so he's going to lose a little time anyway.
Well, his turning in the Adamant would also move it as well.
Vanilla Cube.
one of the developers giving us a double layer of troll.
But we've been testing out large amounts of shuffling in oh boy, the town shuffle and the entrance shuffle. They've been treats to play, let me tell you.
All right, so white shirt pickup for Will. If he continues this Earth Cave check, he will find the Power Gauntlet, which I believe will give him just about all he needs. But if a lot of people will, if like they're kind of checking greed chests, they'll check this floor and then stop checking because a lot of the chests further on into Earth aren't so great to pick up. So Fuchsia picking up his Adamant, he'll be happy to see that. That does also light up all 5 of the items in our tracker, which is always nice for symmetry purposes.
Have they found the ruby yet?
I don't believe so, actually.
So,
and that makes me happy because that means that Trenton was wrong, and nothing makes me happier. No cabin.
oh, we found Nuke. Never mind. Skipping this fight.
Sweet lord. Why are you saving, you madman? All right, Fuchsia barely makes it out there alive.
Looks like flying in circles for a little bit. Fighter slumped against the wheel of the airship.
I could just imagine.
He's still not saving.
He's a madman. I could just imagine him making the noises like Dr. Zoidberg, like while he's. Oh my god. He's gonna get like Stunlock killed by something on the way out of this cave. I swear to God. Please save Fuchsia.
We have an equipped Bane sword. This is truly an endgame party.
Save it. Oh my god. And he runs.
It's a good thing that ogres didn't have death touch.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. What a madman. I love it.
Full tilt Fuchsia here.
I have a feeling that every single runner on stream right now has to be feeling like they're behind with the position of that floater. It's easy to sit back and think, oh, nobody would have possibly gone here because of how bad Marsh was. But it's another thing to be in the actual race yourself and kind of running the race and just feeling behind. Oh, Glare Gersharks.
Well, time for Life 2 on the night.
Alright, Mono picking up some good experience here in both of these fights.
Will's gonna load up on Nuke, I assume, at some point. Just checking the white magic shop to make sure he didn't forget anything.
Or maybe not.
Okay. So, Mono and Fuchsia pretty close on levels, but they're very low levels, so...
Yeah, this could be a Temple of Fiends revisited simulator type of seed.
And I think with warp charges, this might be just spend a little more time in Sky and maybe run around the Gas Dragon floor. You've got plenty of ice charges. Oh, Will is gonna full clear Earth, so we'll get to see what's in this far-flung chest here.
Well, being rewarded with Power Gauntlet is reason enough to be happy, regardless of what's in the rest of those chests, I think. Question in chat: are item stats untouched? They mostly are. For this round of the Final Fantasy Randomizer, the weapon stat fixes are on, which means that the original intended crit ratings for weapons have been fixed. You can find a chart with the crit rate with weapon stats on and off in that link I just threw in chat there.
Alright, Will, looks like he got called away to do something. Timer's still going, but no activity on the screen. Fuchsia is gonna burn down this group of vampires, and this is a pretty good encounter to just go through for experience. Uh-oh.
Mute Waters. Oh, it doesn't mute, though, one of the guys that got a Ice recharge off, though. That could be a very dangerous, or at least time-consuming fight in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Now, with 3 ribbons, he doesn't have to worry about mute hitting too much, but the bigger issue is that they have a spell list, and then, like, the second spell is kind of terrifying. Fortunately, with such low HP, he's likely to never find out what that is. Alright, it's Bracken time.
Come on. Oh, man. Yeah, he doesn't give up. That's what I like to see.
Going full mono.
There we go.
4th try. Hey, I won a race last night because Brack hit on the first try.
Wow, is Mono going to the mermaids? Is he looking for a better sword?
Or Power Gauntlet?
No, yeah. Ideally both. He won't be rewarded with Power Gauntlet, but man, I'd say with Excalibur in hand, really the only big upgrades left are the Masamune. And Power Gauntlet, of course, although he doesn't know that it's not here.
Defense Sword would also be nice to find.
So I have a question in chat. What is Brack? Brack is a spell. I believe, is it status element? Has to be, right?
It's Poison
Oh no,
Stone.
it's poison. Yep, it's poison element. It does instantly kill an enemy by turning them into stone. So there are a few bosses that are while not weak to it, do not resist it. So those bosses include Tiamat and Kraken 1.
Yeah, Carrie does resist it, and Lich is so brittle you don't need to instant kill him. Basically, when your magic pool is not great, and you have lots of Brack casts, that's one of the better ways of getting through that fiend. And we saw a lot of the runners do that in earlier league races, where you had to run 3 black mages.
Yeah, one of the fun things about this randomizer is there's a lot of different tools available, and knowing which ones are the best solution to the problem you have with the tools you have available is one of the things that makes this randomizer so interesting to play and watch. Ooh, Opal bracelet in the Mermaid Shrine.
Alright, not a terrible find. Still looking for something a lot better, though. Okay, Aegis Shield, not bad either.
Interesting, he threw away not his Opal shield instead.
Oh, that's gonna do it for him. So just a quick Mermaid's check, and he's rewarded with good defensive equipment, which he hasn't equipped yet. Question in chat: are all chests scrambled together, or are dungeon chests scrambled? So all of the chests are scrambled together. The only caveat is that there are 2 chests that are incentivized to always have either progression items or very, very good equipment. And those are the chest guarded by the Eye in Ice Cave and the final chest in Castle Ordeals.
Guarded by the dreaded zombie dragons.
Oh, no, if you have exit, then just steal it and get the hell out.
True, by the same token, if you have warp, you don't have to deal with the eye either.
It looks like the fighters, it's a pretty good group for Fuchsia to run into. They do have petrification poison, though.
The old poisontrification. Alright, Mono is still digging for Power Gauntlets or Masamune would be my guess. Now, we know Power Gauntlet is in 4-3 of Earth, but we have not laid eyes on the Masamune quite yet.
No, Mono also doesn't know where White Shirt is, so...
Oh, very true.
He hasn't seen an evasion item yet, he hasn't seen Masview, and he hasn't seen Power Gauntlet, so he probably feels very uncomfortable with his current loadout.
And all this time spent checking has allowed Fuchsia to pull a little bit further into the lead here.
Yeah, but at the same time, one white flips it all the way back, so how... it all depends on your risk tolerance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, things are going to get very interesting once we get to the Temple of Fiends. And Will is just having a tango with these bats here. Is he going for the Brack Tiamat strats? Hell yeah.
I mean,
That's my boy Fuchsia.
Even more likely to work than on Kraken, so might as well go for it.
Happy birthday, Tiamat. I got you this stone statue, life size, of you.
It's even worse as you break it into pieces afterwards, so it's like, oh, no.
Yeah, that's just rude.
I got you this gift, Crunch. Hey, there it is. So, Mono has Masview now.
And there's no reason to not check the rest of the chests while you're there, but this might be enough to make Mono not want to check chests anymore. It's hard to tell. Maybe he'll still be looking for Power Gauntlet or White Shirt.
So this is certainly an advantage for Mono, but a significant advantage? I'm not sure. With one use of Power Gauntlet, Xcal catches up pretty well to Masview. And then with repeated buffs, it's just going to get better and better.
Yeah, agreed. I think it's going to come down to this Temple of Fiends, how the enemies roll, and we're about to find out because Fuchsia is entering the final dungeon, the Temple of Fiends you're visited here.
Yeah, so I don't know what Fuchsia's strategy is going to be here. My personally, at the levels he's at right now, I don't feel very comfortable.
Yeah, the scaling here is not crazy small. Enemy stats can be up to 220%. I mean, but that's huge. You know, having a boss have more than double the health and more than double the offense, you know, it can get pretty crazy pretty quick. So things are going to get real interesting.
The other consideration is the levels required in order to get sort of X amount of hits with weapons. And with XCal, you get the 5th hit at 29, but you get the 5th hit at 24 with Mazmian. And with no sign of fast, really, on any of the characters, we know it landed at level 8. And so that extra hit could make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting, too, that the Fuchsia has the Power Gauntlet, so he does get extra hit from that, so that pushes him closer to those breakpoints, depending on how many casts of Power Gauntlet he uses. Question in chat, how far into this league are we? This is actually, for the regular league races, this is the last race of the last stage of the league. But we do have a 3-way tie for first, so we do have some Randomizer League Grand Finals coming up, which are pretty hype. We already talked about them a little bit on stream, but we can get you a link with more information here for the Grand Finals.
This is very interesting. Mono just found the defense sword. So with Mazmian and defense sword, he has a strategy of, you know, being able to plink away at bosses and then using life 2 charges to life 2 on the knight to pick everybody back up. So that is a very important safety item. And Mono is also playing it pretty risky here, trying to get some of his other characters to die so that he can use life 2 to avoid menuing, but enjoy your hero run instead.
Yeah, the one time you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, is he going to leave you with 1 health, though? No.
I respect that. Oh, no, he thought better of it. Oh, wait, never mind. Of course, now that he spent all this time getting everybody to full health, he will one-hit Brack first command. It'll work.
It's just RNG manipulation.
Yeah, going for those Brack strats.
Right.
These runners are after my own heart here.
Time to see how much damage, maybe? How much absorb Tiamat got?
Woo! Pretty good offense.
Yeah. Alright, Will, meanwhile, taking care of some unfinished business in the volcano. Question in chat, you missed, well, you didn't miss the whole tournament, you missed the, this is the last race, but the finals you have not missed. The finals will be happening Monday, April 23rd at 10 Eastern on Speed Gaming. That's the first game out of the finals races. So if you want to catch the top 3 racers in the league going at it, definitely check Speed Gaming 1 at that time.
And by going at it, of course, he means racing in Final Fantasy Randomizer. I just felt the need to be clear there.
No, that's true. I mean, it could have been, you know, combat to the death. Question in chat, the spring tourney will be randomized. Yeah, so it'll be the regular, it'll be a standard Swiss tournament format with sort of more conventional rule sets than the league.
Mono showing his Team Tyro allegiance. That's right, Tyro our friend, not food. No, Mono, why? Stop! No! You traitorous bastard.
The fake
I
out.
believed in you. I am wounded right now. Enjoy your dirty levels and experience, you jerk.
It's only level 19. He needs that steak. He's so scrawny.
So very true.
Alright, so Fuchsia is going to do the full dive here. This is kind of interesting. He's definitely at the low end of levels to get that extra hit just using the power gauntlet, and he's going to take a good chunk of damage on the way down. Already burning through quite a few of his heal potions, although this isn't anything unusual for Temple of Fiends.
No, Carrie is the first real challenging of the bosses here. Lich is usually kind of a pushover unless he has nuke or something. So opting for those safe fog strats since he doesn't have access to Invis. Oh, Carrie has Cure 4. Lovely. That's a full heal.
Well, it's a free turn for Fuchsia as well, and good thing to find early before you start hanging damage on the boss.
Yeah, very true.
Question in chat, can you get custom character sprites in FF Rando? They're not built into the randomizer, but there are, the randomizer is compatible with certain sprite hacks that allow you to change the way the characters look. Tarlin actually did quite a lot of work on a female character pack. I wish you were here to give the link. I'll have to see if I can get it from her at some point.
Meanwhile, Fuchsia did take down Carrie, who had surprisingly little hit points, but did have both Cure 4 and Poison, so we know that's out of the other boss's spell lists.
Alright, this is really the first scary boss, though.
Yep. And this could, depending on how awful Kraken is, could be one of the first 3 make-or-break fights here.
Lots of life charges to go around, though, so it's going to have to be an outright party wipe. And, hey, that Fog 2 working already. 6 hits.
Although, worth noting, I don't think any one of those hits did crit.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah, Fuchsia's thinking about, do I keep stacking or do we just start killing him?
So I think you have to keep stacking until, just because the nuke charges, although that is a hell of a nuke roll.
Oof, that had to have been max damage. Based on whatever his magic defense is.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Was that paralysis touch on top of it?
Yep.
Yikes. Yeah,
the scary
Fuchsia's...
part is, at Fuchsia's levels, he does not have very many nuke charges.
Yeah, spending them all on this boss, who you know to be scary, is not out of the question. Goes for the triple or quad X.
No,
not quite there.
More than 300. Oh, God.
Oh, Kraken, the gatekeeper. The dream is still alive for Fuchsia, though. He's gotten huge nuke hits.
Going for the quad X again.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to be able to pick everybody up for the Tiamat fight, but not a lot of nuke charges left, and if Tiamat has sky-high absorb, that could be a very long and drawn-out fight.
Yeah, I mean, Fuchsia does have the power gauntlet and the white shirt, I believe, so he is capable of winning a long, drawn-out fight if the boss doesn't have any scary offense, but that's a pretty big if.
Oh, we've seen one nuclear already. No nukes, though. And none of the powerful non-elemental abilities either. No swirl, no tornado. Even Inferno through Ribbon does a ton of damage.
Yeah, a lot of it's gonna depend on how friendly Tiamat and Chaos are. Hint, they're usually not very friendly.
Alright, fog rolling in.
Meanwhile, Manochi enjoying one of the many unrunnable fights in the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Alright, Tiamat only 4 hits, mid-100s, but no crits, so... more fog charges could be beneficial, but he also has to think about what he wants to save for the Chaos fight. And Fuchsia in the think tank right now with his red mages.
Meanwhile, the Force Saria fight, another Group 8 for Mono.
Wow, you do not see that fight very often. Almost like it's a Group 8 fight.
You might see it a lot more with the Unrunnable and Encounter Shuffle.
Very true.
More features that are coming down to the pipe thanks to one of the harder working randomizer dev teams, out of all of the communities that I've seen.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. These guys put in a ton of amazing work. And if you are interested in checking out our community, the link to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord is in there. Gosh darn, almost every night there are races being held or features of the beta or alpha builds of the randomizer being tested in groups. It's good times. So if you're interested in checking out our community or interested in running this at all for funsies, make sure you take a look.
So Tiamat goes down, Kraken really being the big gatekeeper so far, although Chaos can ruin anybody's night, but pretty good for what I would say is surprisingly low-level party going in here. But one nuke could ruin everything, so...
Yeah, and I'd say Chaos having a nuke and like slow 2 or something like that and a ton of hit points could still make this very rough for Fuchsia.
Question in chat, has Slow 2 been seen? Nope. And that's probably why the Knight's going to the back. Question in chat, Mystic Quest randomizer when? There is one.
Alright, so we got Fuchsia in the bottom left, setting up for potentially the final fight for his seed. We'll see how kind Chaos is going to be.
Kind enough to let the fog roll in.
Yeah, that was very polite of him.
Oh, there's a Bane.
Oh, and it hits the non-ribbon member. Alright, the defense is getting layered. The fighter's getting his attack buffed.
Alright, Lit 3, the next one in the spell list. Well, no nuke charges, so not much else to do, but...
Yeah, the red mages are not quite as useful at this point.
Yeah, kind of a tough spot for Fuchsia, although with enough buffs. Oh, jeez. Through all that fog, still hitting like a truck.
That's got to be nerve-wracking. Oh, Lit 2, a very safe spell to be casting as compared to other things.
So he's continuing the buff train here, and this is where stacking Absorb over Evasion really doesn't feel as good. Alright, first swing. 70 damage! Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, Chaos has got the Absorb, although none of those were crits, worth noting.
Oh, down comes Crack.
Ribbon's still offering protection.
Alright.
Oh, jeez. Now, these red mages are much less armored than the fighter is, even on top of all those fog charges. So this fighter could likely take one hit. It's hard to tell, depending on how many of the crits are in there.
Well, 198, no crits, and that was almost half health, so...
So he's getting about 200 damage per hit, but not getting any crits.
He's in an RNG loop. He has to stop.
Yep.
This is not so good.
No.
Meanwhile, Minochi getting buffed up by Kraken.
Nuke! Oh,
So-
welcome to Temple of Fiends, Fuchsia.
So at the end of that gigantic garbage spell list, so
His
here's the
nuke.
deal: Minochi can stack 6 casts or 3 casts of the defense sword, and all of a sudden that takes away everything scary from Chaos except for the nuke cast.
Barring any ridiculous cracks breaking through ribbons or anything like that.
Yeah, so Minochi's in pretty good shape right now.
Well, assuming he doesn't get destroyed by Kraken here.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone for D on this either. But makes it through this fight.
Alright, life 2. Saving heal potions.
Yeah, he's running super low on heal potions. Fortunately, the next floor is pretty short, but 4 purple worms can really ruin your day. Just ask Show.
Yeah, that has happened too many times. So Minochi opting to save his tempers for the Chaos fight. We know that to be a pretty good choice here.
What's funny is, knowing what we know about Chaos's Absorb, it might be a better option to go with Vorpal here.
Yeah. I mean, it always feels bad to go into a fight with Vorpal instead of Masamune when you don't know the specifics, but...
Alright, Fuchsia taking another dive.
Fuchsia did get quite unlucky with the lack of crits in his melee offensive with his knight there. So we don't know how many hit points Chaos has. He definitely has more than 1,000 though.
Alright, the nuke charge is coming out for Mono, so he's going to be out of resources shortly. I'm really surprised not to see defense sword usage here.
Mighty Red Wizard Files taking a hit like a champ.
Question in chat, what happened to Fuchsia? Took a wipe on Chaos. Turns out Chaos had nuke.
And he had nuke buried behind a very long spell chain.
Also hit real hard. Alright, Mono makes it through Tiamat.
God, his knight is only just now level 20. And he's darn near out of health potions. Oh, I thought he got the Iron Goal, unrunnable Iron Goal fight for a second, but nope.
Only 2 of those.
Alright, moment of truth for Mono here.
Alright. Is he gonna put that defense sword to good use? Nope. Yes!
Yes. Alright, this is about the best setup that Mono could do for this Chaos fight. In my opinion, anyway, with the tools he has.
Alright. Gets a temper out as well.
Oh, jeez. Chaos just destroying the Red Mage files. Is that a YOLO Brack I see?
Well, not much else for him to do.
Alright, first action defense sword is great for Mono there. And Chaos wastes a turn casting Ink. You know, Chaos hits just hard enough where I think the third application of defense sword is warranted, and it looks like Mono agrees.
Yep. Oh, down goes the Black Mage. Well, we know where the ribbons were now. And yeah, it looks like Mono's just going to go for this chip damage and hope that that's enough.
Oh, 4 hits for 150, and that's with at least 1 critical hit.
Oh, he has nuclear as well. That's lovely.
Oh man, we've gotten much farther in the. All right, a nice 330 crit there.
Gives the red mage something to do. He can throw a cure 3 before taking a dirt nap. So Mono is going to get further in this fight, but how much further is the question.
Oh, 3 hits for 40 damage.
But if you can get Chaos into an RNG loop, it really doesn't matter. Just hold A to win at that point.
Ooh, Ink is a pretty good one.
Unless that means it's a short skill list.
Yeah, we don't want to see nuclear again.
Almost out of heal potions. No, there's just... Okay, so there's a lot of... It's nuclear in the skill list and nuke in the spell list and terrifyingly high physical damage. Oh my god!
Sweet Lord. That's actually super rough for Mono because now if nuclear or nuke come out, his fighter very likely does not have the... Oh! He gets the 200 damage!
Wow. What a chaos. Jerk.
That was absolutely incredible.
He must have rolled insane strength if that crit did that much damage. Wow. GG to Minoshi, finishing with an SRL time of 2:15.16.
All right, well played to Mono. We'll see if we can't get him in here for an interview for that ridiculous chaos fight there.
Looking at the stats, lots of power cycles for Mono, so skipped a lot of overworld encounters. That's a very, very tough fight, and that could have gone either way. But you decided to go with the skill list instead of the spell list, and hey, we're joined by Mono right now.
Hey guys, good game.
GG, man, what a finish!
Yeah, that was that chaos fight was incredible.
Those potion jugs, man, they helped.
If there's one thing we could count on Mono, it would be eating or consuming some kind of beverage or meal to save the seed.
That is true.
So one thing you did not see is that further along in Chaos's spell list was actually Nuke.
Oh wow, I got lucky then.
Yeah, Fuchsia beat you into Temple of Fiends Revisited, but was a little bit less levels than you, and managed to just get destroyed by that nuke.
Ouch.
So the big difference was you kept digging for items in Sky and found the defense sword, whereas Fuchsia go-moded Sky. And being able to dodge everything but crits from Chaos gave you enough sustain to get through that fight.
Yeah, I think so. I was thinking for a white shirt or defense sword. A power bomb would be fine too, but I have to dig for it.
Yeah, those two, white shirt and power bonk, were very close to one another. White shirt was guarded by Earth on floor 2 of Earth Cave, and then on floor 3, the first chest you can get to was power bonk.
Oh, where was power bomb again? Sorry.
It's the first chest that's accessible to you on floor 3. So
The vampire floor.
So bottom right.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you went in and checked Earth early, but as did Fuchsia, but he actually went further in, got the power gauntlet, and pieced out. The other question I have to ask you, Mano, is how did you feel about the location of the floater in this seed?
It was free. Well,
Did you?
after I saw Lit 2 on these scums, I didn't want to go back in. It's like I made the first trip out. I'm not going back in and see Lit 2 again.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Like when you went back and found it, like did you think anybody in their right mind would have actually powered that out to go get the floater? Like did you feel like you were behind or not really?
Not really. I'm not playing against Artea, so only Artea would do that.
Very true.
I guess, I mean, metagaming some of your opponents, knowing their tendencies, does help in a race like this. But yeah, no, I'm totally on board with you. Trying to, or even if you find the floater, getting meat grindered, bringing it back through AoE scums and shadows with glance. Not my idea of fun.
And the encounter table is pretty bad too.
Just as a heads up to our viewers watching, Speed Gaming may or may not be going offline for a minute or two while some routers and stuff get switched out. So if the stream goes out for a minute or two, do not fret. It is planned. We will be back very shortly if it does. So just a heads up to everybody watching.
So this is Fuchsia second trip in.
It is, and Fuchsia does know that Chaos has nuke. Although I don't think we saw. Did we see nuclear on his first fight, Edge?
No, he didn't. He did not get nuclear. But just terrifyingly high rating for strength. That crit was almost 400 damage that he landed on you.
Yeah, without the extra heal potions in Cure 3, you'd be still in the Temple of Fiends right now. And we have some questions from Ishbin Maya in chat, who is one of the league co-commissioners, asking you, do you have any plans for your spiked vanilla run tomorrow for the league finals, other than your skip everything LOL that you threw in chat there?
If I count the chests, it would be like 3 ribbons, a white shirt, a power gauntlet. That's it. 5 chests.
Well, you don't have to open your kimono, so to speak, and give away all your strategies here. But I would imagine you've got your party composition set already.
Yeah, it's that belt. It doesn't matter. It depends on the spells I start with, or else I have to go with the backup, which is pick up everything.
Which is not. It's no longer skip everything, yeah, I think between you 3 runners, I think we're going to be seeing. I'd be very surprised if Tristal didn't go with a black belt grind, and I'd be very surprised if Artea did. So it should be a real hype race to watch.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of those two. It depends on how it feels like the spells goes. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible you could get the nuke, life 2, and fade all in the level 1 spells, and that will suddenly change how you decide to approach the seed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's pretty much RNG. Depends on how Marsh and Ice Cave goes for the floaters and the crown.
All right. Will did some digging, found the defense sword, so he's in pretty good shape for the final fight. He's got white shirt and defense, and his power gauntlet as well, I believe.
Yeah, he'll be real set up for the Temple of Fiends once he gets there.
Did anybody catch out the adamant?
Yeah, so that's what Fuchsia's rolling with right now, has XCal, did not find Mazmute.
But
Oh
to
wow,
note,
he
he does
skipped.
have the power gauntlet, so he was probably a little less motivated to keep digging.
And
Oh, that's true.
Crunch goes the Red Mage.
Ooh, Fuchsia is going to need quite a few rounds um, of buffing, and he gets a free round thanks to Bane being resisted by all of his ribbon-wearing members, which is he needs quite a few more applications of this white shirt before he's going to be safe from the ridiculously fearsome chaos melee damage.
Oh, he got the white shirt too. That's pretty safe.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he's not electing to throw Fog 2 out with his other mage. Perhaps he feels that the damage, like the absorb on chaos, is high enough where he needs that extra Vorpal damage. Oh, and he's thinking about it. Oh, and another free turn with Ink. But
Yeah.
Did
he
buy
knows that
heal
nuke is
3?
coming.
Yeah, this setup is going a lot better for him. He does not know that Nuclear sits in the skill list, though, so...
Did he have heal 3 or no?
That was a Cure 2.
Was heal 3 learnable by the
Yeah.
Red Wizards in this seed? I don't remember.
Yeah, I had it. It's just I didn't have the level for it.
Yeah, that's right. It was level 7 or whatever. Alright, some decent damage getting into chaos here.
Alright, and the stacks of evasion are doing their job, so this should be very doable for Fuchsia.
Oh, the Vorpal doing work. That's what I like to see. All those stacks of Saber doing something. All it takes is one bad nuke to ruin his day, though. Wow, pound for pound, I think that Vorpal Sword's done more damage than the XCal Fighter. Oh, not anymore. Hey, Chaos goes down for Fuchsia.
Alright, GG for Fuchsia. Official SRL time of 2:26:22. And now Will's going to take his shot at Temple of Fiends shortly.
Yeah, a very close race there. If Fuchsia had had a similar setup this time that he did on the first time around, this could have been a much closer race, and it was already pretty close. All right, we'll see if we can't get Fuchsia in here in a little bit for an interview. I think he's taking a post-race calm down.
So just to catch up with the action off stream, Brilliant is currently going through Earth right now and is still cracking open chests, presumably because he hasn't found White Shirt or Power Gauntlet yet. Will looks like he's taken some of these Frosty fights to get some extra levels.
When he's spreading out the Mass Immune Love to his Red Wizard.
A good idea, just as long as he remembers to switch the Mazmune back to the fighter before fighting bosses.
Yeah, and already we see the worth of it there. Worms are pretty tough to take out with spells, but they sure die easy to weapons for the most part.
And I feel like if you're gonna go through the trouble of leveling, that the Gas Dragon floor is the way to go, because you can nuke down the Bad Men group. The double fighter group is pretty good for experience, or excuse me, fighter and 2 mages. Slimes are good. That fight is also really good, but he's going to pass it up, so I guess this is just an official dive now. And Gas Dragons you can kill with Ice 3, so feels bad that such a premium grind spot is limited to the end of the game, but what are you going to do?
Only use it at the end of the game. Hey, it looks like we are joined by our second place finisher, Fuchsia Fantasy. GG, man.
Thanks.
I gotta say, how surprised were you to see the end of Chaos's spell list there?
Oh, that was the end? Not particularly surprised. I had gone pretty deep with the Fiends, so I knew a nuke was somewhere.
You might also be interested to know that your race partner, Manochi, also found another interesting spell at the end of the skill list, and then Nuclear was also on Chaos as well.
Yeah, I think I saw Nuclear, or I might have saw
on your second round, yep.
Nah, or I might have saw Nuclear somewhere else.
Yeah, I think Kraken had a Nuclear as well.
Oh, that's where I saw it.
The fun
really?
never stops.
Oh wow, I was lucky then. All he did was just harass me with tentacles.
I've seen that movie before.
Well, I mean, I had Fog 2, and I had 3 Red Mages, plus the Knight if I really wanted to, so I was okay against the Fiendry fights, but Chaos was just way too beefy on the offense. Fortunately, I dug out the white shirt in Earth.
Yeah, Minochi had the defense sword out of Sky. Those 4 chests next to the teleporter.
Oh, I skipped those. I was in such a hurry because I thought my early game and mid game were just not very good. I mean, I double dipped Earth and I went everywhere. I skipped the bottom of Marsh, and I felt like I would be really, really behind. But I'm guessing Minochi skipped the bottom of Earth too.
Yeah, in fact, I think every runner skipped bottom of Marsh, and all paid for it by picking up that late floater.
And with how gross Marsh was, it was pretty expected with, what was it, Ice 2, Scums, and I think the Shadows had something gross.
The Shadows had glance. I never saw anything off the Scums. So I did think for a second about going down because I could probably save Scum to get around the Shadows. But I was like, I'm already not doing so well in the early game, so I might as well, move faster. I don't like having the 3 Red Mages. I don't like going without a Thief. I don't like going without a Black Mage. It cost me, and then I lost temper.
Well, I want you to know that you won coolness points in my camp for running triple hat.
Oh,
So whatever that's worth.
Well, it's the Communist Party. It's got to be very red.
Oh, it's right, because it was red. I missed that. Well done.
Yeah, I was waiting to show that off.
Oh, I can't believe I missed that call out. Good work. Alright, so we've got Will making his way through his first dive through Temple of Fiends on that Earth floor, so he'll be coming up to Lich pretty soon, and then the real adventure will begin shortly after that.
Is Brilliant on stream, or is he off stream?
He's off stream, currently winding his way through Earth right now. Presumably his last dungeon. So, Fuchsia, we did discuss on stream the so-called greed chests, the chests that you pick up along the way, even when you're in go mode. Out of all of the Fiend dungeons, what qualifies as the greed chest to you?
If I feel like I'm way behind, I don't care how close the chest is. I'm just not gonna get it. I'm just gonna go fast. I felt okay with the gear that I had. I didn't expect, high evade fiend or high melee fiends. I was kind of banking that the fiends just weren't that tough, and that what I had on hand, Sun Sword and Power Gauntlet and Vorpal Sword would be enough.
Yeah, because the it wasn't even the like multiple hits. It was a chaos that was hitting you for 3 with sky high strength that really roughed you up.
Well, the first run against Chaos, I had I don't know how many Fog 2s up. I think I had like 5 Fog 2s. That's what, 80 absorb?
Yeah.
I think. And he still hit free hits 300. So
Yeah, that was pretty crushing.